there's so much pressure and so much riding on such a small amount of time with a player that, ultimately you have no control over. You can do your bit, but if they're not receptive or if they decide to do whatever they want to do, like that's literally out of your control.
Your transition from behind camera to on camera seemed like quite a smooth one because of the relationship you had with Poet and Vuj. Was that transition, was that scary, or did that just feel natural?
No, but that's what I say. Like, it wasn't scary at all, because I didn't even know. I didn't even feel like anything was happening. I felt like it was such a natural progression from being off camera, doing tweets and kind of working on edits and all this sort of stuff, to being on camera and presenting and being a part of, that presenting world, to then having my own show and all this sort of stuff. Like, I felt like it was such a natural progression that I didn't bat an eyelid. I didn't think like, oh wow, I've got this. And now thinking back, I was like, wow, I have my own show, and like I did a whole branded series with Addy and traveled here and did this and whatever. So it was like that. That's why I always feel really bad whenever anyone asks me, like, I'd love to do stuff like what you're doing, or like how did you get to where you. And I was like, honestly, I sort of don't even know how I got to do what I'm doing, because it was like I was so lucky that I joined somewhere that was so, I guess, open to like new things and pushing everyone to do what they wanted to do and sort of thing, like that. I didn't second guess like, oh, is this what I really want to do, whatever. It was just like, I really love what I'm doing. I'm so grateful. Let's just keep doing it. So yeah, it was like the most natural thing in the world to me. I didn't really feel like, oh my God, like they're putting me on camera now and stuff. Like, at the beginning, I was really nervous. I remember the first few shoots, I was bricking it, like didn't know what I was doing really. Like, as in, I remember what Tom, the producer at the time, he's like, mate, just don't worry, relax, be yourself. I was like, I don't even know what myself is. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you're telling me to present these things, and I'm like, I don't know. All I know what to do is like play football and like chat to people. I don't know. And it was just literally through that and just doing it. And that's the beauty of YouTube, I guess, is that you just keep churning stuff out, trial and error, and you get better. And then it just became, I guess, what I do now. It was, it was a very natural kind of career arc, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing though that I think viewers don't see, or maybe don't think about too much, is like the stress of having, for example, you might have like 10 minutes or so with a player that I imagine sometimes doesn't want to be there, or you could be waiting for hours to get those 10 minutes. But have there been any shoots that have been like excruciatingly hard to get good content out of?
Yes and no. Like, there's been no like footballer that has been just a pain in the ass or has purposely made things hard for me or anything like that. You are right. Like, it is one of the things that people don't see or maybe don't quite consider, is that like some shoots are so pressurized that like you will literally you're supposed to have 45 minutes with this one player, and you've got this whole shoot that you've got planned with these sets of questions and then this segment that you want to do and take, and eventually they're like, right, we've got 7 minutes, you got to do it now, you're not going to do it. And there's so much pressure and so much riding on such a small amount of time with a player that, ultimately you have no control over. You can do your bit, but if they're not receptive or if they decide to do whatever they want to do, like that's literally out of your control. And I think the more you do it, and now I'm at a point where like I'm so, I guess, at ease with the fact that it's not really up to me. Like at the beginning, and because I guess I was younger, and I think a lot of people find this at the beginning, is that like you're so desperate to do well, you're so desperate for it to be a good shoot, and naturally, the same thing today. Like I want every shoot to be the best shoot I've ever done, but it's more, I think, you wrap yourself up in it so much more at the beginning, because it's what you're doing, and you feel like you have a massive part to play in that. Like, I need to smash this or whatever. Whereas now as I said, I'm so at ease with the fact that like, look, I'm going to do my bit. I'll have a good time. I'll see if they want to have a good time as well. And if we do, great. On the whole though, it's the process is it is a bit stressful and pressurized, but for the most part, 5% of the time it goes on without a hitch, and you know, the player's lovely. You get more or less the time that you needed to do it, and that's it.
One of my favorite videos of yours, especially in your time at COPA90, was when you had Marco Reus train you and was there in your ear playing against Vuj, who was trained by Axel Witsel, because he seemed like such a good sport, and we got to see future Arsenal star Michael Timbs on the ball.
I'm 28, but I'm still hoping to maybe get like a 1 or 2 week trial. Future
wonder kid.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was your favorite video of that era?
So that, for me, that's what a lot of people that I've chatted to say is their kind of favorite video as well, which is like it is quite a big source of pride for me, just because it's an idea that myself and my friend Kai drew up, because, you know, as I progressed kind of through Copper and started doing less social media stuff, but more kind of actual like shooting and production stuff, that I had more, I guess, obligations as almost like a producer or like a creative to come up with ideas and help execute shoots and stuff. And that was in a response to a brief from Puma saying, you know, we have these 3 kind of launch dates for different boots over the season, and we'd love to do like a partnership or like a video series. But if you had access to players, what would you do? And so, yeah, me and Kai just sat down and we just chatted through it, and we're like, wow, this, and then it just, you know, for some reason, it just, things happen, and one idea gets evolved into another and gets slightly flipped into another. And then it just came up at the end. We're like, wow, I think we've got something special here, because we'd never seen anyone do anything like that before. Like to this day, I still haven't seen that. So to actually come up with that idea and really plan it out, and then to see it come to life, you know, in these videos that were really popular and that were received so well and that the players really enjoyed as well, I think that's when you know that you've had like a big hit, which was nice. So that was, from a personal point of view, that was definitely a highlight of mine. And then there was like the series that I had with Addy, you know, playing football with, I mean, look, like playing football with professional footballers for a series is sort of like surreal. So naturally that's kind of my highlight, but all of it for different reasons, like my whole time there doing different things. It is all kind of one big highlight reel, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What about going freelance? Was that quite a scary move to make?
Yes and no. At the beginning, yeah, because obviously it's unknown territory, and I didn't know whether I was like, not that I was any good, but that, you know, Copper was always my safety blanket. And, you know, I'd started as a 23, 24-year-old and worked till I was a 7-year-old, 26, 7. And doing that, I was always like, no matter what happened, you know, if I was presenting or not, or if something went well or not, it was fine, because at the end of the month, I was always paid. I always felt like needed. And, you know, it was home. It was so secure that I knew I was okay. And then deciding to go freelance was obviously a big step. And at the beginning, yeah, as I said, I was nervous because I don't know if people will want me. I don't know if I'm actually any good compared to anyone else. All I know is that I enjoy it. And for some reason, people like some of the stuff that I do. But then, yeah, after, you know, when I announced that I was freelance, and then after a week or two, seeing the kind of responses and stuff, then I was like, okay, I'm okay. And yeah, since then it's been on the whole, it's been good, man. Obviously, it's been a tough year for a lot of people, and so many people have had it so much worse than me. So I can't complain in any way. But just from a personal point of view, like it's had a lot of ups and downs. Not being freelance, but this year has had a lot of ups and downs that, you know, I've had to deal with. But yeah, I've always kind of I think I'm quite a positive person anyway. So I'm sort of I always try and look at the positive side of things and just keep. You know, I find solace in working hard and just getting your head down and grafted, just because I think that it helps in a lot of ways.